Hello Libra and welcome back to the channel. I'm Jen with Bohemian Path Tarot, and today we're doing August readings. I've got the Unfolding Path Tarot here today, and just before we get started, let me remind you these are general readings for a general audience, so it's not quite the same as a one-to-one reading. It might really resonate with you, or there might just be a nugget or two of wisdom or inspiration. Feel free to check out the readings for your sun sign, your rising sign, and your moon sign if you know those placements. And I like to fast forward over the shuffling part because I don't like to talk and kibitz over the shuffling. So I'm going to fast forward the video over that bit, but I'll give the deck a really good shuffle for you, and I will catch up with you in your reading in just a tick. See you there. Okay, Libra, let's see what we've got going on. Chariot. 5 of Wands. The Star. And the Tower. Oof. Okay, so first let's point out that you've got 3 major arcana out of the 4 cards we've got here. So that's intense. The major arcana cards for me tend to be the stuff where it's a lot of internal stuff going on that affects your external world. So the stuff that's going on inside of you is affecting the changes that are going to happen outside of you rather than external stuff affecting coming towards you. So let me say that first. And now starting with the Tower, this means that absolutely a big change has to be made. This is like it's time to leave a job, it's time to leave a relationship, it's time to leave a toxic living situation. It usually comes up when something is well past its due date and it's become toxic and perhaps has broken down. This could also be something like even a car breaks down, maybe a car you were intending to replace, something like that. But it can show up, sometimes it can be even dramatic when it's something that you know, something you need to change, something you need to move away from, or it's something that you haven't quite found the words for or the way to be diplomatic about it, because Librans prefer to be beautiful and find the perfect way to do a thing, and there isn't a beautiful way to make this change, right? And so you're just going to have to rip the Band-Aid off. It's going to hit different Librans in a different place. You know, not all of you have to break up with someone. Not all of you have to leave a job, or you'll know, you know, obviously in what area of your life, you know, this change needs to be made. And it doesn't have to be a big catastrophe for all of you. Like I said, maybe for some of you, it is like, you know, you haven't gone to the dentist for a while and all of a sudden a tooth breaks, and that's the thing that it makes you have to go to the dentist, even though you'd been planning for it and you just haven't found the right dentist, and you've been hemming and hawing and getting recommendations. Finally, a thing happens that you can't hem and haw anymore. You just have to pick one and go. It could be that sort of thing. That might sound trivial to some, but that can be a big deal thing to some other people. And let me also say, this could be a piece for some folks about breaking down armor. There could be, for some of you, a thing that you have been doing, whether it's a job or a philosophy or a habit or something that you have been doing that has been to protect yourself, that is no longer serving you, and it's actually keeping you from a relationship or relationships, or from a group or association that you really want to be involved with. It could be something that you did because you thought it was the right thing to do, or you thought it would protect you, or you thought that's the way you had to live your life, or it could be a philosophy, or maybe even a religion, or part of a religious belief that you grew up with. Something like that might need to be stripped away because it no longer reflects your values. And it might be a stunning revelation when you realize something that had been a part of your philosophy or a part of your way of life that doesn't actually reflect your values, doesn't actually reflect how you want to go forward from this point on. And I would say there's some sort of stunning sort of revelation or change that actually frees you. What the tower does is it frees you from kind of being the princess in the ivory tower. That's kind of how I think of, you can think of this card, right? You know, when Rapunzel is up in that tower, she's trapped. She might be a princess and she might have amazing hair, but what good does that do her when she's trapped in that tower? This is the moment, and maybe it's dramatic, where you can see the lightning, you know, and it's stormy. Maybe it's a dragon that's, you know, setting fire to the tower or something. It's some kind of dramatic moment. But whatever it is that happens, there's this release from the place that was, or the philosophy, or whatever it is, that has the princess or the prince or whatever, however you define yourself. You know, it's a liberation. Okay, so even if it comes in a slightly dramatic way, or even if it feels like how it unfolds is not Libra perfect or Libra beautiful, it's something that you will feel as liberation, or see as liberation after the fact. Now, the next thing we have here is Chariot. Let's see if we can get this. There we go. Focus without glare. The Chariot is a go card. It's the other thing about the Chariot card, in a lot of depictions of this card, the central character is on kind of like a wagon. There's usually two horses, and they're on kind of a wagon with like a canopy over the top of the wagon. It's like a pageant wagon is what it was called. For real history buffs, it was kind of based on the sort of mystery plays of the Middle Ages that would go from town to town, or that would travel around the town. You can still see them in some towns in Europe, these mystery plays where characters from the Bible or biblical stories or later fairy tales, things like that. Punch and Judy could be on a pageant wagon. And there are these kind of traveling wagons that might take bards or performers, you know, from town to town to tell their stories. So you can't really see it in this particular iteration of the art, this particular card, but kind of embedded in the root of the Chariot is this essence of taking your act on the road, you know, moving on. And especially if this card is about leaving a living situation or moving on, even moving on from a job. This is absolutely, you know, the reminder of packing up and going. And there might be an element of a little bit of a temporary situation, There might be some Librans that are doing the van life thing, or going to stay with a friend, or taking an extended vacation just to get some distance from whatever this is. This could indicate moving, travel, sabbatical, that sort of thing. But it's definitely a go card, a movement card, a take a risk, movement, motion, your car or truck or horse, anything associated with movement or motion or journeys. Moving on. Okay, so moving on from the moving on card, we have the Five of Wands. Now this card can be a little bit of chaos. It's a little bit of a heads up card that there could be a little continued chaos or misdirection around you. It can indicate that there is, I've seen this come up a couple of ways. Sometimes it comes up that, there is a situation around you where the people around you are a little bit dramatic or chaotic. For example, it could happen in a work situation where maybe there are people with a lot of opinions about what should be happening or who should be doing something, but not a lot of people actually doing the work. Or it could be that there is a new leader or a new boss and people are confused about who roles or how to work with the new boss, or there could be a new person, that kind of chaos. A lot of people having opinions, but not a lot of actual work getting done, that sort of thing. Or another example might be like when you're planning a wedding for, say, your sister, and both the mother-in-law to be and your mother have very strong opinions, and a cousin also has opinions, and a bridesmaid is being dramatic, and just that when there are harsh feelings and bridezilla and drama that way. That's one way this card can kind of show up, when there's ego clashes. And it's when the drama can kind of happen around you, and it's just a heads up that you can be a sort of diplomatic de-escalator. In this instance, you don't have the same kind of ego attachment to an outcome, so you might be the sort of bridge between the chaotic parties. And if not, it's just, it could also be a warning to just kind of, not a warning so much, but just a heads up that there's some spirited moments ahead. Another way this can show up, though, is in those times, especially like when you have to make a move, if you're moving out of a living situation or leaving a job. This has come up for me when I have a number of responsibilities and kind of too much to deal with in one day. Like when I have a job interview, plus I have to put in hours at my day job, and I have to remember to bring an extra outfit to work, plus my lunch, and my car needs to get an oil change, and I have to remember to text my brother his birthday message. One of those things where you have a lot going on and you have to remember, and I have to get to the post office with the Etsy order that I'm mailing, and all that kind of stuff, and you just have to remember a lot of details, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and I have to pack up the Etsy order for tomorrow. All the things you have to remember in a day, and there's just kind of too much going on, and it all might be good stuff. Like I love my brother and I love my Etsy store, and I'm excited about this interview, and all that stuff. But it's a lot, So, and the thing is that the Wands suit can be speaking to stuff that you have an ego attachment to, stuff that you love, your passion projects. It can be career related, not just jobby job, but stuff that if you're an entrepreneur or if you're an artist, craftsperson, or something along those lines. So that's a couple of ways the Five of Wands might show up. And it's not terrible. But it can be it can be a bit much, especially when you're already kind of dealing with, resolving this and this movement piece. But I will say this is a lovely card to end with here. The star is absolutely a green light from the universe, which, bookends with this go, go, go card, right? And we also see stars in the Chariot card typically. The Chariot card, in many depictions, the depictions with the wagon, the canvas over the sort of pageant wagon has this canvas of stars. And then you get the actual stars in the star card. And this is a positive, hopeful card. It's kind of like the green light from the universe. This is when things start to progress. This is when movement happens. This is when, this is the light at the end of the tunnel, and when you can start moving towards the things that you actually want in your life instead of dealing with cleanup and, moving away from what you don't want. This is when you're moving towards what you do want. And not for nothing, Libra, the star card is the next card in the major arcana. I hope you can see this. It comes after the Tower card. So while the Tower card can be a bit dramatic and, a bit chaotic, the star card is when the rubble has settled and when you've dealt with whatever this is and you've done your cleanup, you've moved on, you've unpacked, and you have reason to look forward to this new beginning that has come after this. You know what? Let's call it a breakthrough. I have another deck, and it's buried too deep in my pile of decks to dig out right now, but you'll have to trust me that there's this one version where behind the tower there's a star, and you can just see it just barely behind kind of the debris that's falling, so that that once the debris has fallen, there's this beautiful bright star, and that's what you can look forward to once the dust has settled. There's this clear sky with the bright star, and let me extend the definition and go beyond the hopefulness and the green light and tell you some other associations with the star include the internet. The star is associated with the internet. So if you're someone who does content creation or anything to do with the online world or electronics or coding or anything like that, that's well supported with the star. There's also an association with fame, obviously, the star like being a star. So whether you do, whether you perform at your local dive bar in a 80s cover band, or, you're an actor, or you've just published your first book, this could indicate a time when you receive acknowledgement or there's some level of fame. It could be both the internet thing and the fame thing where some content you created goes viral, something along those lines. Another thing that the star card is associated with is the planet Uranus and the sign Aquarius. So if you have an association with Aquarius, or if you were asking about Aquarius, this might be a yes or a sign to move forward with an Aquarius. And finally, if I didn't mention it before, the other thing that the star card is associated with is healing. So especially after a go, go, go time, if you need a time to rest, to take a sabbatical, to take a spa day or a spa week or something of that nature, this might be a good time to honor that. So Libra, before I close, I just want to be very clear. This isn't terrible. It's nothing to fear, really. It's something you know that has to end, or something you know in your heart of hearts has changed within you. And that's going to cause a shift in the world around you. It means you have to make a change somewhere in your life. It may look very dramatic in this card, and it may require a big change, like a move or the end of a job. But in the end, you're really moving towards a more authentic, a healthier version of you. Libra, thank you so much for dropping by. Thank you for supporting the channel. Please take care of yourself. Until next time, bye for now.